Hello art students. The first thing I'm going to show you how to make is a coil. A coil is a snake-like piece of clay. I'm going to take half of my clay and squeeze it into a sausage shape. And then I'm going to roll that sausage shape away from me and towards me from using the palm of my hand from fingertip to palm, and spreading my hands out as I roll so that I'm thinning that clay out as I press and roll. If it flattens out, I am going to twist it towards the middle and trim off any that's kind of thinned out and continue rolling it as I spread my fingers apart and use the entirety of my hand. What I'm going for is something that's about the same width all the way across, and that is also finger thickness. Looks good. Now I'm ready to make the next form. I am going to wedge this clay together by squeezing it in my hand and then tapping it back out into a ball. The next form I'm going to show you how to make is a circle or a sphere if we're speaking three-dimensionally. I'm pressing that clay into a ball in the palm of my hand, and then I'm going to roll it in between my two hands so that it gets really, really round. I can continue rolling it in between my two hands, or at this point, I can also try rolling it on my clay board, and that might make it even more smooth as I roll it. Looks pretty good. Now I'm going to tap the sides of this sphere so that I create a cube. So I'm gently tapping it on my clay board, and I'm creating 8 sides as I tap so that I have a cube form. This could be a useful shape for me down the road. That looks good enough. Now I'm going to show you how to make a cone. So I'm going to squeeze this back into a sausage, and instead of rolling the whole thing like I would with a coil, I'm only going to roll 1/2 because I want it to get thinner at one side than it is at the other side. So I'm rolling one side so that it starts getting narrower, and then I'm going to tap the bottom of this cone so that it is flat. This is a useful shape to know how to make because it could be used as a unicorn horn or antlers or any kind of nose. Looks pretty good. All right, now I'm going to show you how to roll a slab. So I am going to combine these two pieces of clay by squishing them together, and then I am going to wedge them. In wedging them, I remove any excess air, so I'm going to tap it pretty firmly on my clay board so that I force out any extra air that might be trapped in there. And I'm also making sure that the two pieces of clay are really combined together before I think about rolling it out. I want to make sure that there are no visible cracks in my lump of clay. And then I'm going to take a rolling pin, and I like to stand above my clay when I'm rolling a slab, and I roll in one direction, and then I flip the clay and roll it in the other direction. And I really don't have to do much rolling to this piece of clay because it's so small, and I want it to be finger thickness. Looks pretty good. Fabulous. Now I can cut all kinds of things out of this slab of clay. I can make shapes. I can use different clay tools like a needle tool to cut strips that I could then shape into different things by curling them. Slabs of clay are really important to know how to make, but here's what it looks like now that I've trimmed off some little pieces, and I could even take some of these little pieces and curl them. There's all kinds of stuff that I can make out of a slab. But let me show you what happens if I roll this too thin. So if I really get going with this and I keep rolling it and rolling it and rolling it, and I'm not really paying attention to what's happening, and then I try to take it off my board, oops, it's going to break. So now that clay is no longer usable for me. I can't really make anything out of it because it won't support any weight. It's way too thin, and I couldn't even get it off my clay board. Boo! So don't do that. Make sure that everything that you make is at least finger thickness. You can always trim it down, but you can't really add to it without risking trapping air in it and then having that air expand and explode your piece in the kiln. I'm going to wedge all my clay back together into a ball so that I can reuse it for next time.